What's up, guys? This is IFBB Physique Pro, Travalis Blunt, just about 3 weeks out of Miami Muscle Beach Pro, my debut show for the 2016 season. Oftentimes people ask if I could offer tips to new competitors. What I would say is, more so than anything, guys, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's day in, it's day out. It's not gonna happen overnight. But if you put the time in, you can do or become anything you want. The weight is nothing more than a tool that you use to sculpt your physique. You don't always need a sledgehammer, so it's not always about weight. And oftentimes people think that it's about getting bigger. Rarely is it about getting bigger. It's about getting better. Look at yourself honestly, evaluate yourself honestly. Fall in love with the work. That thing that's maybe lagging behind. You gotta learn to love it. I would say if you fall in love with the work, everything else will take care of itself. There's so many things outside of your control. You have no control over who's on the judging panel or who shows up or, what the aesthetic they're looking for or any of that. But what you can control is, diet, cardio, intensity, passion, consistency, things like that. So because there's so many things outside of your control, control the things that you can control and, just bring the best package that you can bring. You can't tailor it to what you think the judges are looking for, because the panel that you have this week could be different than the panel you have next week, that's different than the panel next month. So just bring the best package that you can bring. Most people don't know that when I'm not doing this, I actually teach high school history, and I'll be turning 40 this month. Like most guys my age, I was a fan of the Rocky movies and Schwarzenegger as a kid, Terminator and all of those movies. So I was always interested in building the body and being physically in shape. Played high school sports, ran track, actually won a state title. Played football, was recruited by the University of Florida, and I was a running back in high school, but Florida wanted to recruit me as a receiver, and I wanted to run the ball between the tackles, and they kept telling me, you're not big enough, you're not big enough. Well, I finally go on my recruiting visit, and they're playing Mississippi State, and I get to go into the locker room after the game, and I get to see Eric Rett, who was the running back at that time. He goes on to play professional football and NFL or what have you. And I'm a junior. I'm probably all of 100 and maybe 65 pounds soaking wet. And he's just kind of sitting there in his locker, much like I am now, but full on man, probably 215, 220 pounds. And in that moment, I realized in a way that I hadn't before that, yeah, maybe I am a little too small to run between the tackles. And that's kind of been, my motivation all these years to really put on some size and to get big. So fast forward something like 15 years down the road, 2008 is really when I started to get into the gym and read the magazines and take it seriously. But it still would be another 4 years before I got on stage and began to compete. But yeah, once I did, literally from the moment I stepped on stage, I was like, this is absolutely for me. Interesting side note, most people don't know that as I was stepping on stage for the first time, I told the expediter, I was like, yeah, I think I can do this professionally. I was such a rube. I had no idea. But yeah, I won that first show and stepped off stage and got these trophies, and people wanted to take pictures with me, and girls, and I was like, yeah, this is absolutely for me. I can come back and do it again in 3 weeks. I'm there. So did the Dexter Jackson Classic, won there. Went to my first national show, and like most people, I got pretty well handled. But it was a learning experience, and sometimes that's what you need to actually get better. So this is my sophomore season as a pro. Hired a coach. I think I've come probably as far as I could by myself. Hooked up with AJ Sims, and he's made me all better. Thank you guys for all of your support. As I said, 3 weeks out, I'll see you. If you're looking to get at me, you can